Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December 12th Product Analytics Group Sync. I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get through the billboard and then get on with the rest of the agenda. Hopefully everyone can see my screen and it's in legible shape. Awesome. Cool. We've got a couple issues that are assigned, but um, Rob, I think you have a point about funnels. I don't know if you want to we can save that for later or if that's something you want to talk about now or
No, I can say it now. So funnel visualizations haven't been working. We've tried two different approaches to get them resolved within the current architecture that we have. That didn't work reliably and kept getting my machine arguments going on. So I have proposed a more seemingly reliable solution, bit more longer term, probably take a few milestones to make it work. I've asked everyone for their thoughts, so feel free to jump on. And if you have any opinions, I would be very happy to hear them. Obviously, funnels is a big piece of functionality for us coming up, and I know the docs team are really interested in implementing what we're doing.
is that something you'd want to walk us through later on in the meeting, or is it more just like there's a lot in there and just better to contribute async?
Ideally async, but if enough people say they would like to run for it in a sync meeting, I'm more than happy to set that up. The only thing to say is I am on holiday from next week for the entirety of Christmas. So if we want that to happen, it would have to happen this week.
All right, cool. Well, we'll go through it, and if we feel like we want to walk through it together, then let's set that up. Um, Max is out, but I can speak to verifying restoring data. We're going to test just using a project and deleting the data to kind of verify we can do partial restores and things like that. And with Sam's test group, it's a good candidate for that since there's not too much traffic anyways. So
And
yeah,
we also have a runbook repo. And Max has documented how to restore backups from ClickUp Cloud on there with future runbooks on the way.
yeah, I think ultimately we'll want to move that around the same time. I started a MR for Runbooks and infrastructures repository, so at some point we'll want to consolidate, but it's fine where they are right now. But thanks, Max, for setting that up. And then moving on, we've got an blocked issue related to funnels. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but
Yeah, I've
probably just
updated the issue description, but there's no point working on this while the underlying functionality isn't working. That issue will be resolved as soon as the other issue is resolved.
sounds good. All right. Then, as far as things that are in dev, I have the two issues here. So, backup strategy for product analytics for SaaS. This is part of the work Max and I've been doing to figure out how we want to restore backups, but we've kind of been waiting on the ClickHouse working group and more of the people working on bundling ClickHouse at large within GitLab to see what their thoughts are as far as the backup strategy. Because we'll largely base ours off of theirs and probably go a little bit further in terms of fidelity or resolution of backups in terms of trying to back things up ideally on an hourly basis, depending on the time frame of the backups we're keeping. But yeah, this is a work in progress, also depending on kind of what ClickHouse does. But yeah, not a whole lot of action from the working group on this yet. I'm trying to push for action there. Next thing is logging, which again just kind of stays there just to call out the need for infrastructure support because we have logging for the environments that we manage, but not for the ones in the infrastructure pre and staging environments. So let's continue moving on there. And then confidential issue, but what we can say is we have restricted ClickHouse Cloud services so that they only accept connections from our analytics clusters. So it's good to have. And then Rob, you've got the next few issues in review.
Not a lot I can say. It's confidential. Hello is going to be reviewing. Both of those issues are in one MR because it solves the same problems. And I have a question in the MR that I've pinged you on, Dennis, regarding how we're gonna update staging to get this reflected in staging as well. And if that's something we can do now, or we'll have to wait. So
Yeah.
it's in progress.
Yep, for sure. Similar to logging, probably there might not be a whole lot right now we can do, but there are discussions underway to kind of figure out how we can support that going forward. Cool. And then anything as far as the with fill, or should I?
No, I pinged again and still nothing. Yeah, I need to get back onto the whole uh, looking into other cube related similar products and stuff that we discussed in that cube meeting,
Mhm.
so we can get a better idea of what our options are.
Got it. Cool. Then cost data is just an ongoing exercise that honestly I'm a little bit behind. So I need to work on that to just improve our fidelity as far as like what our costs are now, especially since we're a few months into it. But yeah, um, then no issues in verification. Our last closed issue is about pending Docker versions. So we've got over 10 issues to go through, but we've got extending total group usage visualizations from 2 months to a full year to get a whole year of the usage quota data, which is very useful. Anything you want to call out about fully releasing the dashboard or visualization designers?
No, just to call out that it's now available. So please feel free to use it and tell us what's broken.
All right. Max did some work with regards to scaling the Cube API and refresh workers, similar to our collectors. We've got project onboarding for getting usage data. Does anyone speak to this issue at all?
That was just a minor bug with the usage data where we were uh, looping through all projects, whether they've been onboarded with product analytics yet or not, and that was causing some logging errors. Logs errors in the log.
That's oh yeah, that's right. It's for usage quota. Yeah, and that was also causing timeouts as well because we were querying like usage data for a bunch of projects for like deep rooted hierarchies. Rob, you've got writing liveness probe checks. Anything to call out here?
No, not really. Just we're now keeping an eye on them a lot better.
Nice. Will, anything you want to call out as far as the adding project links to experiment features list?
Yeah, like the title says, it's now depending on experiment features. Yeah,
Great.
it's a toggle. Yeah.
And Graham's added a how we design to our group page. Thanks for that. And then back to you, Halil. Anything you want to call out with ClickHouse Cloud metrics?
We are now sending the ClickHouse metrics to dashboard. So I actually have a link after I will show it.
Cool. We've updated Cube schemas to use user ID consistently across all of them since you were kind of between, I think domain user ID was our previous dimension there. So that's good. And then related to that, Jan, anything you wanted to call out about being able to exclude anonymous users?
No, it's active, but interestingly enough, while validating this, I found a bug where our historic data is inconsistent over time. I did raise that in the channel, but yeah, it's just something we should probably check out before GA.
Sounds good. Ellen's gone ahead and created an onboarding video. Not sure if we have to update that with the kind of enablement instructions. I think that might be a little out of date, but overall it was a great walkthrough. And we've also handled unsaved bit changes in the visualization designer. Saw this the other day. It's very cool. We've resolved the issue, it looks like, as far as the instrumentation ID being unset. Halil, is there anything you want to call out for that?
Yeah, this was like a bug fix, so it shouldn't be removed anyway unnecessarily. But we can still, like, in my opinion, do some follow-ups to improve the user experience in that form, maybe, because it's supposed to override the general settings. Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, there was a easy fix. You just had to re-onboard and it would connect since we keep the application ID. So was a little bit worrying, but then it was a pretty easy fix. And so thanks for resolving it. And then you have the last issue as far as closed. Anything you want to call out for the feature flag toggle?
Uh, no, like the toggle is behind the feature flag. Yeah, that's it. But I will show how it works actually in the show and tell.
Awesome. Cool. Then that's it. So that was probably a dozen or so issues. So great work, everyone. I'll stop sharing my screen, save the bookmark, and we can continue down the agenda. Rob, anything else you wanted to cover, or did that cover your point in the board review?
Yeah, that pretty much covered my point. Just putting it out there to make sure we get as many eyes on it as possible.
Awesome. Cool. Then show and tell time. Will, you're up.
Sorry, I was muted. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Oops. Um, so yeah, just want to show the the new toggle. So I'm in the staging in the product analytics ultimate test group, and the project is Snowplow integration test. So it works like at least product analytics built-in dashboards, and also we have some other dashboards. And if I go to the root namespace, which is an ultimate test group, and we expand the group features, and there's experiment and beta features, which used to also happen here. But now we have this new toggle. So this is a requirement for the dashboards to show up. And since it's an experiment feature, what is important to know is that it's now an SASS feature. It won't work in self-managed. The second is that the use product analytics by itself is requiring experiment features. So I cannot save it like this. So it will give an error. It requires experiment and beta features to be enabled. So, and yeah, if I go ahead and then uncheck this checkbox and go back to this dashboard view, I will not see the built-in ones, but the others will be still visible. Yeah, this is pretty simple, but I would like to show one edge case because this feature flag that we have is actually because we are, of course, we may disable it in the future. And if we disable it, still, we should be able to make changes here. So I will show it in the, this one, I will show it in my dev environment. So let's say we have a project which has both experiment settings and product analytics are enabled, but I decided to disable the feature flag. Okay, so when I disable the feature flag, as expected, the product analytics checkbox is not visible. But if I remove this and save, that means that the experiment features are enabled, but the product analytics was already enabled. So there will be an inconsistency. So in this case, we automatically clear up both of them. So once the user removes the experiment features, we also remove the product analytics features. That's only when feature flag is disabled because they cannot disable by themselves. There is no place. So I just wanted to show this up to clarify. Yeah, and that's basically it for the toggle.
If the feature flag is disabled, will the users be able to still use product analytics, or what's the behavior for that now?
No, right now the feature flag is a requirement for the dashboard. So if I have the disabled the feature flag, we will not see them. So that feature flag is a requirement. Yeah.
Got
it. Okay, that's it. I can stop sharing.
Yeah, I think as part of cleanup, I think we've got a handful of feature flags we can consolidate. So it'll be good to kind of get that tidied up. But I think overall, if we wanted to go through with the beta release, we would just have to enable the feature flag toggle globally, right?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, we have other feature flags which also should have to be enabled. but the toggle one, yeah, we can configure it, and I think keep the toggle because that's the main point of checking if yeah.
Actually, product analytics dashboards would have to be enabled globally as well, since that's restricted to the project level. So, okay. Well, I'll start putting that together as far as the kind of technical launch plan for that. Thanks for showing that. I think you also have the next point.
Okay. Yeah, next point we can do it offline, just like I put a link there. If you click there, we can see now the ClickHouse metrics in the dashboards.gitlab.com. So
Awesome. Rob, did you want to verbalize your subpoint as you're typing? My apologies.
I can't type and talk at the same time. Yeah, I was just saying I need to review it. But Helen has also graciously updated put an MR in, to update the dev kit docs to describe this new behavior and how to set up product analytics now as well.
Great. We'll have like one last update once we reduce the feature flags, and we'll be in a much better spot than we were before. So thanks everyone, especially those testing out product analytics for the disruptions. Your patience was appreciated. Yeah, again, you're up next.
I'm not sure if there is much to show, but it's more like tell. I was working on integrating GDK Docker image with product analytics. So it's now working on my local, and I can preset up GDK through Rails console to have all the feature flags enabled, and all the required settings enabled. And I managed to run the test that I have. Also, it's in progress, but there is a MR for that test, and it worked locally. Again, that's set up with GDK Docker image and product analytics. So I think it's great news, and I'm looking how to integrate into continuous integration on DevKit repository at first. So that's me. Yeah, maybe any questions? Or I saw next point is also about it looks like similar thing, like product analytics set up on GDK rake task. I'm not sure if I can share anything for that, maybe, or you have everything there.
I can vocalize. I'm just sharing this a bit early, but since you mentioned that you're working on this for testing, I'll share my MR with you, and maybe there's some opportunity for us to, I don't know, call the same module or something to set this up. But my GDK kicked the bucket earlier this week and had to completely start from scratch. And I found the experience a bit cumbersome with the amount of beta, SaaS only, license checks, setting up a group, all the different features or settings you had to toggle, and then the feature flags you also had to enable. So I went ahead and today and just time boxed and quickly created a rake task to do all of that in one line. I found that the AI group has something similar for DO chat, which I found really helpful. So it's highly inspired by their work, and I just need to sort the tests out for the actual task, which I have a call with Halil after this to help me with some niggly RSpec stuff. But yeah, just the FYI.
Awesome. Thanks again for your work there as well. I guess as far as next steps, we move it to CI, and then we could replicate that on whatever. Well, it goes back to our previous conversation about we can test it on some clusters, but then getting the staging, since that's not routinely updated, is our kind of big roadblock coming up, would you say? Or what's your outlook on that?
Yeah, so if we set up a test on DevKit, we will have early feedback. But I think as far as I understand, it's the process is that deployment should go to staging before production for all G8 features, most probably.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. So I think we will need to look into that at some stage.
Yeah.
And at least like the test will be there. Hopefully, I'm finishing with like MR review for the test, and it can already run. But of course, without deploying a new code, new updates to staging, it will not have much, value. So yeah, I think at some stage we will need to make sure that we deploy to staging before production. I'm not sure how it works. It's probably some collaboration with someone who takes care of staging, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know much details about how that will work.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely something that's coming up next very soon as far as getting ready for GA, because we need to kind of have a clear path in terms of how we manage all these environments, whether they're going to be split or not, and if they are, how we update them. So we know how we can update the chart versions, for example, but where the configurations are at, I believe they're in a different location as far as Vault is concerned. So we'll have to figure out who does that or who submits another MR or gets SREs, for example, to update those configurations before we actually update the versions, things like that. So we'll definitely want to, that's very much coming up soon as far as things we need to resolve. But it's great that we have the test running with DevKit. Would it make sense at this point to then continue to add like additional test cases there until we kind of work on the rest of the environments and stuff like that? Or
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking to finish with like setting up CI with one test at least, so make sure it's working, and then build new test and just set there. I didn't think of specific test cases yet, but it will need to happen. We probably need to sit and make the not sit, but like chat and make some test cases that we want to be covered in end-to-end tests. But like once all the setup is done, I think it will be much easier to just add a test rather than like now without setup. It doesn't make sense to edit.
No, it's exciting. Good stuff. All right. We have an OKR update, which is read-only. Unless anyone wants to discuss anything, we can pause the recording. Otherwise, any other final topics, questions, or concerns? All right. Well, it's good to see everyone. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, or if you're watching the recording, rest of your day and rest of your week. And yeah, take care.